Hey everybody, great to see you. Thanks for pressing play, we really appreciate it. Well, where are we? We are in the, what neighborhood is this?
This is the Mace Avenue neighborhood off of Bronxwood Avenue in the Northeast Bronx.
The Northeast Bronx. And
still very Italian neighborhood.
Of course, who are we with? Well, we're with the great Gary. Some of you may, hey, Gary, thanks for joining us today, we really appreciate it. Well, Gary was on the show the other day and talking about his childhood friend, Valentina Suriani. So today's video, we are going to explore that a little more, showing you the neighborhood where Gary and Valentina both grew up, became friends, really good friends, in fact, best friends, in fact.
Yeah, so she's my best female friend, yeah.
Right, so today Gary's going to take us on a tour of the neighborhood, show us all the sights, and we'll probably hear some sounds, too, of the neighborhood. So before we get into that, Gary, I just want to show the audience like this very interesting site, which looks actually just like the Eagle's Nest in Untermeyer Park. What are we looking at?
Yeah, this is the Grotto of St. Lucy's, where I went when as a kid, and all the way through my teens, because my family insisted that we do that. And this actually, there was kind of like a tunnel that went in there. It was almost like a cavern where you would see statues and all kinds of mementos. I think it's closed now.
Where was that tunnel?
It was behind that wall, from what I recall.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of makeout sessions in that.
Might not want to say that too loud.
And like I said, it was like a cavern, so it was kind of like a religious funhouse. Basically.
What's the water coming out? Is that city water, or is that some special well? I mean, do you know?
I think it's recycled water, if I remember correctly. And you see the nice plants on the top of the.
Yeah. Scotch broom. Well, you know, some weeds, but some goldenrod and stuff up there. That's good. Looks like that stuff just ended up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is super cool.
Yeah, nice. I mean,
actually, very nice landscaping here, surprisingly.
Yeah, well,
you rarely ever see it.
In the Italian neighborhood, they like to keep it nice, and they still do after all these years.
Is this neighborhood still Italian?
A good part of it is still Italian, but you know, a lot of them did move upstate and Westchester County and Putnam, and I moved upstate, Dutchess County. And I also have a place up in the Catskills.
Cool.
But I got to tell you, being here, it's been a long time, and I feel like me again.
Really? How long has it been?
Yeah, it's been, well, a couple of years ago when I visited a neighbor. So anytime I come down here, because they had done a tribute to a friend of mine who died in Iraq. He went over there when in his 50s.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and he got killed. Somebody shot him, a guy that he thought was his friend.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was the chef. So they dedicated a street to him, Joey Morabito Way.
So it wasn't even a casualty of war.
No.
It was a friendly fire, weird.
Friendly fire type of thing. And they called him Joey Pots and Pans.
Wow.
Because he cooked for everyone.
So real quick, so we're now in front of the St. Lucy's. This is the same church that we were just looking at, that grotto.
This is the rectory.
And is this where you went? This is where you went to school, no?
No, I went to school right there, which we'll cross the street when we get to the corner.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I want to show you one of the three places that we did most of our hanging out after school. And
of course, Valentina went to this school as well with you.
Yes, her and I. This is where we met, where we went to school together. And when we were both 14 and 15, we got extremely close.
Before we get into that story, though, Gary, how old were you when you first met Valentina?
12, 13.
Wow, okay. And you become friends with people very closely at that age.
Yeah, and I was very shy, and a lot of people made fun of me. This is the corner. This is one of the entrances, if you want to take a look.
You lead the way to get Gary.
This is one of the entrances that we came out of. And we gathered in the 8th grade when before we graduated. We all came out here with our memory books, and everyone signed the memory books.
So this is where you had your memory book signed by Valentina?
By Valentina, right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So a lot of the hanging out was right here. I mean, just just having fun and making fun of the nuns. The things we did to those. Me and another friend of mine, we did some horrible things to the nuns.
Listen, I'm sure the nuns exacted their revenge on
and
other
I don't want to
kids.
get away from Val's story.
That's fine.
That's a whole.
It's all.
I'll give you one story.
All right.
In the auditorium, we were supposed to have a big meeting. All the classes were supposed to gather in the auditorium. And the nun, they usually wore black habits. This day, our nun, who we hated, Sister Anna Maria, I think that was her name, we killed a bunch of flies, put them on her seat, so when she sat down, boom, just like a car wreck on her ass.
Ooh.
So, because we knew that she'd be walking up and down the auditorium in between the seats, she didn't know why people were laughing at her. But those were one of the things I did. Another quick thing I'll tell you, just real quick, that was kind of cute. It was a day like this, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Absolutely beautiful October day.
Yeah. And it feels like August.
I'm wearing a muscle shirt today.
But what happened was, it was a beautiful day like this. We purposely came in 10 minutes late, me and 3 friends of mine, with umbrellas soaking wet. And the nun said, "Why are you tardy?" And we said, "Well, we were delayed by the rain, sister." And she was so out of it. She was like, Joe Biden. She, okay, well, take your seats.
Sounds like Joe Biden too.
Yeah, exactly. Take
your seats.
Yeah, female Joe Biden is what she was.
Man.
So, this brings a lot back to me. One of the things we did, like I said, we filled out our memory books here. I mean, I'm picturing it all now, all of us here, and
It mustn't have looked very different. I'm sure those houses were there.
It looks exactly the same. Nothing has changed since 1972. Nothing has changed. Even that view hasn't changed, except for the cars.
Right.
Except for the cars. And back then there were less parking spots because the cars were like limousines.
Much bigger, yeah. Yeah, of course.
So if you want to go I'll show you the front.
Sure. And so this neighborhood was essentially an Italian neighborhood back then, pretty much exclusively?
Oh, God, yeah. And
was this kind of like the neighborhood that they portrayed in that movie you were in with A Summer of Sam?
No, that was in the Throgs Neck area, another nice area. My walking rituals would be all the way from Boston Road, which is a couple blocks up, all the way to Eastchester Road. I would walk that back and forth like it was nothing. That's
a long walk, actually.
I didn't care. I was that young. And, so here you have the front of the school where we hung out a lot too, and which might explain some of the pictures I had given you.
Yeah, of course.
So right here's another spot. The girls mostly like to hang out here. And we would torment the girls sometimes.
I wonder why
good fun. Nothing, back then it was more innocent.
Of course, yeah. Even your pranks on the nuns seemed very innocent compared to, what kids are doing nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was good. It was good fun, but they didn't think so. Now, St. Lucy's in the downstairs cafeteria, they would hold events like amateur boxing and bingo for the older people. And my friends had formed a rock group called the Third Rail. And they'd play covers of Led Zeppelin and Bad Company and Aerosmith. And this was mostly when we got out of 8th grade, I think maybe a year or two later. So for a good 3-4 years, they were doing that. And I'd be down there, Val would be down there, we'd all be down there.
Just hanging out here, listening to some
downstairs,
band play of your friends.
Which the best way to get down there is around the corner.
Okay.
So up here
let's walk it.
Is the other entrance where we hung out. Mostly the girls hung out here.
Was it called the Lourdes Auditorium back then too?
Nothing's changed. We're back in time right now.
Really?
Yeah, we're back in time. Nothing's changed.
That's very
It's probably the same paint job on the gates.
I mean, the building looks like it's in incredible shape, very well maintained, it's clean.
Well, that's what it is. It's probably mostly maintained, except for they don't clean the steps.
Yeah, they probably don't even bother. That's the same exact thing. It said Lourdes. Is it the same lettering up there?
Exactly the same. We are back in time.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Because even it says 1954 over there on the stone. Even my schools, they've been painted, they've had different fencing and landscaping and all sorts of new parks put in.
Right.
But yeah, it's really cool to see.
This spot here,
Yeah.
after we were out of here, we'd hang out here all the time, here and over there at the church on the corner.
That's where that grotto is.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys smoke pot. I never smoked. I never smoked pot because I didn't smoke cigarettes. To me, smoking was smoking, so I didn't do either.
Oh, you missed out.
Yeah, I missed out, and so a lot of the things that happened here were crazy. I mean, we back then Grotto was a big show, so we staged a little prank where my friend who I told you about got killed in Iraq. He would drive a car. We'd blast around the corner right here. We throw another friend of mine in the trunk and blaze off, and then we see police lights, and the cop stops us, opens up the trunk, and my friend's sitting in the trunk like this. And the cop said, "You thought that was pretty funny, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's kind of humorous." So my friend Joey got a ticket for reckless driving right here.
Oh my God.
And we were about 17.
Uh-huh.
So, like I said, that's not, I don't want to get too far off of Val, but
that's fine.
I'm just giving you an example of some of the things we used to do because we were insane.
It's coming back to you. That's good.
Yeah, we came out of here a lot at the end of the, this and the first entrance I showed you were the entrances that we came out of when school was out. So there's another spot that we were in no hurry to go home.
Right.
We were in no hurry to go home. I mean, we'd be out here for an hour.
Right.
Whereas today, kids get out of school and they beam home.
They beam home to get on their computers, believe me, I see it quite often.
Yeah, this was a much better time.
Now, so
I don't want to sound old, but...
Listen, I'm sounding old too. It was a much better time back then.
But yeah, nothing, except for the cars, this is real, and maybe the signs were updated.
Right.
John...
is that your friend?
No, that's on Laconia Avenue.
Oh, okay.
On Esplanade. That sign wasn't there. Mace Avenue was there. Actually, the Mace Avenue sign looks the same.
It probably isn't, but it looks the same.
Yeah, because it's all faded. So.
Right, exactly.
So it could be.
Could be. So where did you live compared to around here, like the school? How far did you?
Well, if you walk up across the street, and then which we'll go later on, and you walk up a few blocks, Hone Avenue is where I lived, and I'll take you there.
Yeah. Also, where did Valentina live?
Oh, we're going to go to that next after we go to the playground.
Oh, let's do it.
So yeah, this we'd all be here, this whole area. So we're going out to the playground where we had recess.
So do you remember the first time you and Valentina ever hung out? Because I remember, I had a best friend who was a girl. I was a little older. This was sophomore year in high school when I became friends with her. But we were best friends, inseparable, sounded very similar to you and Val. Yeah. And I remember the first time I met her. Do you remember the first time?
Well, it was in class. I mean, before we got really close, it'd be, "How you doing, Val? How you doing?" Like I said, not many people paid attention to me because I was kind of like a skinny, gangly kid, big ears. I fixed those. Yeah, I fixed those. I confided in her about acting. I mean, I had loved movies since I was like 6. I saw Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and that was it. So we got to talking about that. She started talking about how she's going to be an actress. Right. There was no doubt. And I felt the same way, so we bonded that way. And I mean, I had another friend who was male. He ended up being my best friend for a while, but I loved being with Val. We just, and then I started to develop feelings for her, but she was a tomboy.
Right.
And so invested in what she wanted to do, she didn't seem interested in going out with anyone. And like I said, we were 14, 15.
Right. So before you carry on with that, where are we now?
All right, this is the playground where we had our recess. We'd come out of these doors. And the grades were separated into 2 halves. So even though, there was a time when I wasn't in Val's class, we had already gotten close, so it didn't matter. And this is where we'd all hang out, and I'd be my shy self until I started hanging out with Val and my other friend.
So wait, before you hang out with Val, you'd be alone?
Not alone. I was just very shy, but I had made a friend in Val and my other friend, you know, very quickly.
Right.
So I felt better, and I started, you know. But you know, we all made fun of each other.
Right.
So back then, I was more sensitive to it. Now the tables have turned. My confidence is like from here to here now.
Right.
But I maintain my good heart, which is, you know, I don't, you know, I don't care if you have a big ego, if you have a good heart.
Right.
So you know, I kept that.
This is a huge playground now. How many kids were in this school?
I think there were at least 30 per half class, so you're talking 60 for each grade.
This is like the size of the campus of almost of in front of Bronx Science where I went, and there was thousands of kids who went to that school. This is an amazing amount of space. Do you want to walk down to Val's house while we continue?
Yeah, we'd have to go up here and cross the street, or we can cross the street here.
Let's cross it here where it seems a little safer. Yeah. Now,
you know, the way New York is, hopefully we won't get a
That's what I was
going
to say. In de Blasio's New York, we'll be arrested for jaywalking.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a drag racer will come down and run us over.
Exactly.
It's getting bad, man. Anyway.
Now, these are the Mace Avenue projects. Now, Val lived at 930 Mace Avenue. We're coming up on 910 Mace Avenue, so we just have maybe a block and a half walk.
So she lived in that area of more
We're going to
like
make a right, and I'll show you exactly where she lived. I would say 3/4 of my friends and people I hung out with lived in these projects.
What were these projects bad back then, or were they?
No. It was mostly Italian and Jewish.
And they lived in the projects? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's surprising to me.
It was safe to go in here.
Whoa.
I don't know how. I mean, it's like I said, this neighborhood is still halfway decent, so it's not too bad.
It actually looks like it might still be, kind of decent.
It's more of a melting pot. I thought of Archie Bunker's melting pot for a second. I went to an All in the Family flashback.
God bless All in the Family, man. We need shows like that nowadays.
Oh my God, yeah.
So she lived.
We're coming up in the building right in front of us, and we have to turn. We have to go around because it's like one building will hold 3 or 4 addresses.
Oh, okay. So this is wild. I never knew that. I mean, I thought Valentina, up until now, Valentina Suriani was just a name on a page. And it's amazing to think that they lived in the projects. I mean, I guess it had the stigma back then.
No, she lived here, and then maybe during high school, she moved to Pelham Bay for a very short time, so short that I don't even know the address. And then for her, unfortunately, she moved to the 1950 Hutchinson River Parkway.
Do you remember when she said to you, "Oh, I'm moving to 1950," or were you guys not?
Yeah, no. We still saw each other because we would go to the same events at St. Lucy's or. So we didn't see each other as much, but often enough where, you know, people were very much closer back then.
Right.
You know, not like today, which I miss, where people aren't physically closer. And you know, it's like that video that Sebastian Maniscalco did about the difference between your doorbell ringing 40 years ago and ringing today.
Yeah.
40 years ago, you jump for joy, you had company.
Yeah.
Now you ring your doorbell, you army crawl.
I know. Believe me, I see it all the time, even in my household.
We went a little far. We went a little far, yeah.
So I'm a little curious. Why did her family move so much?
920. Oh yeah. So I am going the right way. We have to go this way.
Okay.
They all look the same.
Why did Valentina's family move so much?
I guess they wanted a bigger apartment. That would be my guess. I don't remember. It's not like they really told me why they were moving. Like I said, they moved to Pelham Bay Park first.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty far away, Pelham Bay Park.
Yeah. I mean, I could walk it. It's not far from me. It wasn't far from me.
So you can actually
walk everywhere. Yeah. And like I said, that was a very short time. So maybe they had a problem with the landlord or tenant. I don't know. Now,
what did her father do for a living?
Oh God, I don't even remember. Her mom was a housewife. I mean, because she was there when I'd go there. I mean, I'd go there and hang out at her apartment. She'd give me lunch.
Wow.
Sit down, watch TV. It didn't bother them that a boy was sitting on the couch with Val. She didn't think anything of it, I guess because they knew their daughter was a tomboy.
Right, right. But she liked guys, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I knew that. I didn't think there was anything, you know, she just, you know, she always had a big sense of humor. And back in that playground, she used to ride her unicycle a lot.
Right.
And be willing to teach anyone who wanted to learn how to ride a unicycle. And I would say, no, it's okay. No, thanks.
Here's 930 right here.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah.
So talk to us.
A lot of my friends moved here. My first girlfriend asked me out in one of the apartments where my friend Jimmy lived.
Wait a second. I mean, you can't get away with that. She asked you out?
Yeah, what happened was I liked her sister, who unfortunately died last year.
Oh, okay.
And she lost her other sister, her twin. And I would confide in her how much I really, I'm crazy about your sister. I want to go out, I want to go out with Judy. But Judy, Judy liked me, but I think she was not my type, and I didn't realize she wasn't my type. So I'm hanging around with her sister. Like we're buddies, and all of a sudden, one day we're in my friend Jimmy's apartment, and her twin sister were in there. He asked her out. My girlfriend threw me on the bed and said, "I'm tired of waiting for you." And I said, "Okay." It's just, and that was the start of that, and that was in '77. I think it was June 1st. In the midst of all this Son of Sam stuff, and Valentina had already been killed at that point in April. So that was a...
Well, we'll get into that in a few. I want to talk first more about her life.
Yeah.
So where did they live in here?
I forget the apartment number, but you go right in there, and I forget what apartment it was. I mean, if I go in there and
do the whole...
Yeah, but it's too much.
Of course.
It would take too long, and it'd be tedious, I'm sure, for you. So.
I don't care. Can we get in there? I don't think we'll even be able to get in there.
Probably not.
It's probably locked.
Yeah.
Well, let's
we
try
can go up to the entrance and just take a look.
I mean, we go the distance in this video series.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to talk to more people who we were with, friends and relatives, to see.
Was this the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can get in.
Yeah, it looks like I still see the same speck of dirt.
Really? That's the same
mosquito.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Neighborhood bad.
Coming back to the old neighborhood.
Yeah.
I've been here since 1996.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Let's do it.
So here's the...
Let's go up to her apartment, or as best as you can remember.
I'm thinking the third floor, I think.
Well, let's see what happens.
There we go. Wow.
Did you ever think you'd be back in here today?
This is the elevator that I entered before I got thrown on a bed.
Well, I can guarantee you one thing, Gary. That's not going to happen today.
Okay. No, I understand. I mean, I like you.
Yeah.
But hey, we're both into Stallone, so right?
Yeah, there we go. All right, so here we go.
Okay. I want to say, I think it's that one. I could be wrong, but they all look the same on the outside anyway.
Right.
But
so one of these three.
Yeah, I'm almost positive. Like I said, I could be wrong, but.
So this is where Valentina Suriani lived, and did she grow up here?
Yeah, they were here, I think, from the beginning.
Really, from the beginning?
From what I recall. I don't recall her ever saying she lived anywhere else.
So she was most likely born here.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Jeez. Yeah.
How many times were you in this place?
I couldn't count.
Jeez.
I couldn't count.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
We didn't take the elevator much. We just
ran
up and down the stairs. We didn't care.
Let's do
so
it.
If you want to do that.
I'm with you. I never take the elevator down.
Just to give you the same routine that we did, and same stain on the floor.
Same odor in the staircase.
Look at this, yeah.
Just so you guys know, in the audience, we smelling the smell of, well, what a New York City project smells like, which is usually piss.
Yeah, it's a marriage of piss and
Cleaning fluid.
Cleaning fluid and Chinese food, so it's like Chinese turpentine.
It smells just like the New York City subway, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that was intense.
I opened this with my fist because, yeah, I remember.
I wasn't expecting to get into this. That's very, very cool.
Yeah. You know, like I said, you know, I'm trying to get a hold of people. You know, a lot of people have been very quiet about it.
Right.
Saying they weren't comfortable. I said, it's a tribute to her.
Right, exactly.
It's a tribute. It's not, you know, we're not trying to, this way, I think.
This way?
I think that's the way we, oh no, right here. Okay.
So speaking of tribute, let's talk more Valentina. What was she like as a person?
Very goofy sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Always joking around, which made it hard for me to be serious and say, look, why don't we go out? Why don't we just stay? It was very difficult. And like I said, we were 14, 15, you know, and I know 14, 15 today, they're probably getting pregnant, but back then, where we did do some stuff, it wasn't as
intense.
No. Times have changed for the worst. Go this way. So now, what we can do, if you'd like, I don't want to rush you. If we go straight ahead, and I think make a right, we'll be at the funeral home where she was laid out, Ferenga Brothers.
Let's please do that.
Okay.
Because this is your ode to Valentina.
Oh God, this is. Well, it makes me feel alive to be here because I love being here. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm feeling. You know, it's hard. I miss her so much, and I gotta tell you that I want to thank you because this is helping me.
You're very welcome.
Apparently, this has been a big weight on me for all these years. To talk about it, you know, and when she died, before she even died, when this was going on, you know, all these police sketches, they were different. And I was saying that all my friends or anyone who wanted to listen, I think my girlfriend and her sisters were the only ones that agreed with me. All the police sketches are different. I said, there's gotta be at least a couple more people doing this. There's no way. Everyone is different.
Right.
I said it doesn't take Columbo to figure out. Now, and I was 18 at the time. If I'm 18 and I can figure this out, these cops have to know this. So.
And apparently, a lot of them did.
Yeah. Now, you know, the cops, they catch him in August, and they're like, "Well, all done. We got him. You can rest easy. Everything's fine. You can go to sleep now." And I'm sitting there going. Give me a freaking break. So I'm waiting a whole year for the next shoe to drop because what would be the thing that they would probably get off on? Wait a few months and start killing again. And that would just throw... See, the cops didn't want the whole city to be in a panic.
Right.
So they said, we got the guy.
Right.
There's several guys. And, and even a girl. I don't know if this is a weak car.
Well,
but there's a girl in the Yonkers Police Department that apparently was tipping these people off. That's why they stayed so far ahead of the cops all the time.
Weak car, she worked for the Yonkers Police Department in the dispatch office. And Detective Chinotti said that his initial intelligence report that he got before he even met Maury Terry, he got this in 1977 as the murders were going on. He got information that, quote, Wheat Car and her brothers were involved, unquote.
Yeah.
So Wheat Car's role in all of this, of course, has yet to be explored fully. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we'll ever really know what the hell was up with her. But did Valentina ever, did you guys talk about the ongoing murders while they were going on?
No, what happened was around January.
Now, first, let's establish she was shot with Alexander Esau in March of '77
by David Berkowitz, not by one of the others.
Right, and he admits it. Right, he shot them.
Yeah.
So before March of '77, had you had any discussions with her about this?
I would run into her a few times. At that point, that's when it started dwindling off the frequency that we saw each other. Because in January, February, I started liking my girlfriend's sister, and that went on for a few months. We would, at the St. Lucy's, we would also do plays at the CYO.
What's the CYO?
CYO is the Children's Youth Organization, or Catholic Youth Organization. And so we would do plays, and this was after we were long out of school. This is 77, I'm 18.
So yeah, this was unclear to me. So you were great friends with Valentina in 8th,
sixth, seventh, eighth grade. That's when we saw each other constantly.
Okay.
After that, and I'm going to wait till I take you to St. Catherine's to explain our relationship at that point.
Sure.
If unless you want me to talk about it now.
No. This is your video. I want you to narrate as you see fit.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you, what our relationship was at that point. But
so 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, you guys were inseparable, best of friends.
Yeah, definitely. So we're coming up, after we make a right on Allerton and Radcliffe, we're coming up on Ferenga Brothers.
Now, Allerton Avenue is a pretty famous thoroughfare in the Bronx.
Yeah, you can constantly find me on Allerton Avenue, too. That was another...
There's Ferenga.
There it is, right. My sister was also laid out here, too. It's another...
And has this changed at all since the 70s?
Painting. I think they did more mason work, like they updated that. The sign was updated. A lot of it was redone.
Like brick face and stucco work.
Yeah, that was not like that. And this is where people were crying. The press was trying to grab all of us. The press would actually grab a lot of the girls, my friends, and try to get them to talk. And then we would grab the girls away from the press. Are you out of your mind? You want to be his next victim? So it was mostly the guys talking to the press. I don't know if I should check on YouTube or somewhere. There still might be footage of that, of some of my friends. And just to see that, people crying, you're seeing people that you hung out with on the news,
right,
crying about Val.
And how many people were here, would you say, for Val's?
Oh my God! It was a line. It was chock full. The whole block was thick.
Now I have to ask this question, and I don't want you to get offended, Gary, but I have to ask this question because everyone is going to want to know. Was there any wisps of her family being connected to organized crime or anything like that could have played into this at all?
Not that I ever heard.
Not that you ever heard?
I would doubt it. I mean, anything's possible, but I
mean, they lived in the projects. It seems unlikely.
Yeah. My grandfather knew that... He wasn't in the mafia. He knew people.
Right.
But Valentina, not that I
just asked because, people do try to make connections between the victims and each other, and there's
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I never saw a hint of that.
Now,
just a good Italian family.
On that note, I remember you sent me a picture of a bunch of your friends or maybe people playing instruments. Maybe even in that basement that you were talking about. That was the
third rail band my friends formed.
Now, the thing I noticed in that, Gary, was that the instruments that they were playing, it was the most updated of Ludwig drums. It was a Rickenbacker bass. It wasn't cheap Chinese stuff or Japanese back then. This was money stuff. So you were around people who you knew were connected.
Yeah. There were people. There were some parents that were connected.
So you would have known the difference.
We didn't see actual evidence, but. You know.
Yeah. So you would have known the difference between, you would have known if Valentina's family was...
Valentina's family was, come on, have dinner, Gary, here's a sandwich, relax, watch TV with Valentina.
Right. And so, by the time, when she was murdered, there was no son of Sam, actually. He was still known as the 44 caliber killer. It was her murder.
It was her murder with
where
the note.
First note was left down.
Right. If you want to turn, there's an IHOP at the corner.
Yeah.
Now that was Gino's Cafe restaurant. My father actually wired the place in '57.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks before Val, approximately 2 weeks before she was killed, they all had a celebration there because apparently Val had developed a contact in California, and she was all excited, and they went there to celebrate. Alex was there, and
And this was for her acting career.
Yeah, it was just a small group of people. I didn't even know about it. Like I said, at that point, us seeing each other had kind of. It's not, we would have kept seeing each other after that, but
Right.
It just got less and less because I had a girlfriend and.
Right. Where do you want to walk to next?
Okay, so we can walk straight up
Okay.
to Hone Avenue, which is where I lived.
Sure.
And where I took my walks back and forth to St. Lucy's and Val's house. And
So I just want to do one final little thing of Ferenga because we
Sure.
are really getting a real flavor of, unfortunately, her life and death. And this is where her funeral was. And of course, we saw where she lived and where she went to school.
the lettering down further, I didn't see that before. It looks like the original lettering.
Let's go see it.
Okay.
You mean on the facade there? On the front? That looks
That's
vintage.
the same. That's the same. They kept that. They must have taken it down, redid the
cleaned
front.
it.
That's the same. So we're back now in 1977. That's the same thing.
I really wish we almost were back in 1977, man. Back when people were real. We didn't have all this bullshit keeping us apart.
Yeah.
There was actually a national culture.
People left their doors open.
Yeah.
People visited people without being invited. They just, everybody just came by.
So talk to us more about Valentina and this Hollywood contact, this California contact. Do you know who it was?
I have no idea. Like I said, at that point, we were at the point where we saw each other less. So I found out about it much later because I didn't know about the get-together. At that time, my mind was on my first girlfriend. But, Val has a special place in my heart that'll never go away. And, I would have loved to end up with her, but... Yeah, and then you're talking two people who wanted to be actors. How often does that work out?
It doesn't.
Unless you're Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward.
Right, it usually doesn't.
Yeah. So.
Do you have any feelings like, what if she had just been with me, this would never have happened to her? Did that ever mull through your head?
It could have happened to both of us. If her family kept on that track, moving to, we're fighting the light. That could have been me. I mean, but, we could have been somewhere else too. So
Exactly.
It could have saved her.
I was going to say that on the show, but I didn't want to come off as being maybe insensitive, but I was going to say, maybe you would have ended up in that car with her.
Oh, yeah, it's very possible. I mean, it would have been a different car and...
history would have been different. In fact, most likely you wouldn't have ended up in that spot.
Yeah, and my girlfriend's father, they were very... cautious about us going out, and my girlfriend's had the exact same hair that was attracting these people. Same style as Donna Lauria. She looked like Adrian from Rocky.
Oh, right, that bob kind of hairstyle.
Exactly. That might have been one of the reasons why I was attracted to her. Everybody was calling us Rocky and Adrian at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Because I had been working out since I was 17. Still haven't stopped. And
yeah, you are a little fire plug of a dude.
So everybody, and like, I was like, hey. And I remember the blackout, which I think was July 13th. My girlfriend's parents would not let us outside. Matter of fact, they were so nice. They let me stay there overnight on the couch. Italian family, there's no way I was getting past the couch. So we all thought during the blackout, it's a lock. This is going to happen during the blackout.
Right.
But as we all know, it didn't.
Right. Yeah, everyone went nuts that night. I was only 4 years old when it happened. Yeah. I remember the lights going out, but that's about it.
Yeah, we're talking when I'm 18, 19. Oh boy, I'm giving away my age.
So here's Hone Avenue. This is your block.
We're going to make a right. This block hasn't changed much at all. I mean, people probably redid some porches and some gardens. You should be interested. There's quite a bit of gardening thing going on.
Yeah, of course, Italians love their gardens.
That little tree does not look like it belongs there.
No, that does not.
You have this, that's been like that.
Wow, nice vines here. Oh no, that's not a vine, that's a colocasia, that's elephant ears.
Yeah, this house here, my friends lived here. I used to put on puppet shows in their basement.
Really?
Well,
It just must have been a blast to live around here because it was
God.
like, you know, you were around houses,
we had
families.
one Spanish family, very nice people at that house there with the nice gates.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, this is oh God, I'm back in time.
I know.
I'm back in time. Wow.
So what happened after the funeral? Like, what did...
We were devastated for a long time after that. And that's all we talked about for a while. And
Did you keep in touch with her family?
no, once they went to the Hutchinson River Parkway, it's not like I could walk over there. It's not in walking distance.
Right.
I couldn't walk there. So now we're coming up on my house, which is straight ahead, that big brick of a structure.
Where? This one right here?
This one right there, yep.
Is this your friend?
Yes, this is my other mom.
I'll
Hey,
let you-
Marie. Hey.
Oh, you caught me doing my work.
Well, it's better than catching
Don't
you.
shoot there, don't.
Don't, okay.
No, it's okay.
We're making a little
it's
video
okay.
with Gary.
We're just doing a neighborhood video.
I know, we push it away.
You want me to do that for you? Let me do that for
This
you.
is every day,
How are
twice
you?
a day I do
How are
it.
you?
I'm okay, thank God. No
Yeah.
use complaining.
We're talking about the neighborhood in Valentina and my house that I wish I still lived in.
This is you
is
had
it.
the whole thing, or it was
Yeah,
just
we even had a garden in the front, but they cemented whoever. I
Oh,
forget when that
wow.
was cemented over.
Yeah,
you? That's a pretty big house for one family.
It's a two-family house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we own the house. We lived upstairs, and Marie knows me since I'm
Well, since my kids say
8 years
Hi,
old.
I'm Manny.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Manny,
to meet
I'm
you,
sorry,
Marie.
excuse
Thank
me.
you.
That's okay.
We're making a video about Valentina Suriani.
I know, he told me about it.
Do you have any remembrances of her? I won't show you on camera.
No, I just remember the time when that was a big deal, but I never knew the girl. I knew that my neighbor across the street, that he's no longer here, he dated her one time.
Really?
Yes, so that's what he used to tell me, that he knew the girl, but
But no other stories about it?
no.
No, I mean I was very close to
Yeah,
her.
yeah, because they were younger, they kept more me, working, busy with the kids, and
Did you see Gary and Valentina together?
no.
No.
No, we were mostly at her house.
Mostly at her house.
I don't think she's ever been, maybe once.
Yeah.
But that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
The girl coming to the,
It's
yeah,
different.
Right.
The different
It was
things, right,
different,
like that.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I just don't want to show Marie.
Oh,
So
Well, if she doesn't want it,
Yeah, no.
it'd be good for the
So I have the
kids will
I have the
see.
camera facing another spot.
It's not gonna
Beautiful.
it's not going to be on the big screen.
I know.
Beautiful Alcuba.
She has always kept a beautiful place. Yeah,
I love
always.
that.
Alcuba japonica, very beautiful shrub.
The shrub, yeah.
May I enter?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. We have our,
Stop plants because it stays like
Oh, it's
that
beautiful.
all the time.
and it works in the shade too. I just planted one of these yesterday. I do gardening for a
Yeah.
living.
He's a gardening landscaper.
Oh.
Yeah.
in addition to
He's a
making
pro.
videos.
Oh my God.
So we have your hostas here, Marie, and a very
but the
beautiful.
hostas, now it's dying because,
Yeah.
but I got rid of some of the dead leaf, now it's because of the tree. This tree is destroying everything.
The roots, correct.
I had to do the cement over here because the root, it was lifting the concrete.
This hydrangea is very beautiful.
I wonder how the backyard is. I haven't seen that in
You
a
can
long
go
time.
see.
Mandy, do you want to see the backyard?
Let's go.
Okay.
Listen, don't look at her side because she's
no.
a mess.
Oh, okay. She lost her mind.
I see a tree hydrangea back there.
Yeah. You should come in the summer when I have my tomatoes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, this looks the same. Well, this looks the same.
So this is the back of Gary's place.
Yeah, and we had I don't know if the grapevine is still against the fence here.
I don't see one.
No grape. You had the cherry tree. Remember?
Oh my God, the awning's the same. I remember a couple times when I locked myself out of the house, I climbed that awning, treading very carefully that I didn't go right through it into the window.
That's you. I'm surprised you didn't. You didn't fall through.
Remember, Marie? Remember? Yeah.
This is a mulberry tree right here. This is oleander.
That's my oleander. But the owner of the house doesn't come and he doesn't take
This
care of the
thing
yard.
should be taken out immediately.
I told him already. I said, you're going to have trees growing.
Everywhere. And also it's going to take out your concrete.
Yeah, I tried to cut it back, but
Oh, fennel. We have beautiful fennel.
Oh, I had a big one on the corner over there.
This
I got
looks
the
nice.
seeds from it.
Do you see how nice she keeps everything?
This
And
is
she's
very
been doing
nice.
this since
And then,
day
of
one.
course, we have your beautiful fig.
You
Marie,
oughta
would
see
you...
how many figs I had this year? Oh my God, the figs that I picked this year,
Oh, yeah?
unbelievable.
Oh,
a lot
boy.
of figs.
This is a
yeah.
perfect place for a fig tree.
Yes.
And there's some figs up here we see.
Yeah, some every day now, you know, the 1 or 2, but I had a lot of figs through the whole summer. I had the tomatoes over there, which now it's grass. It's the weed, you know.
Oregano, basil,
Oregano, the basil,
peppers.
these things. My parsley, I'm trying to get the seeds, so
Yeah.
I could.
Sure, that's parsley. I hope it's not the other thing, right?
No,
okay,
no.
just kidding, just kidding.
Beautiful plants.
I'm teasing.
Hot pepper if you like.
Okay, well that'll give you something.
I would love to take one, but I don't want to take
ahead.
take your food.
No, you could take it.
Oh, thank you, Marie.
Thank
You
you.
know what I do? Take it if it is another one.
No, just one is good enough. These are very powerful medicine, you know.
You go produce shopping right in her backyard.
You know, in the summer I had my Swiss chard, cucumbers, tomatoes, all kinds of tomatoes, different kinds.
Yeah,
Heirloom
yeah.
tomatoes and stuff.
Wow.
I had the raspberries over there. See that bush? over
Yes,
there?
I do see
That's
it.
a raspberry.
That's great.
This is bringing back so many memories.
Beautiful
When I was
rose.
a kid.
You know what, Gary? For me, it's a pastime because I
Yeah.
enjoy doing this.
It keeps
In the
you
morning,
We all had our
young.
doors
I
open.
do. You know, that's what I said.
Yeah,
You know, and these flowers, they bloom all summer long. They are so beautiful.
That's sunflowers, right?
no,
That's black-eyed Susan.
my.
Oh,
black
I knew that.
They stay a long time when they bloom.
Yeah, you have a very warm area back
Yes,
here, so
yes.
probably your
the whole
season.
afternoon, the sun is here. Some, you know. in
Well,
the
this is
morning.
great, Marie. Gary, we need to carry on our walk.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
I'll come back to see you one after we're done, okay?
Okay, yeah. Want to stop
You know,
for
if you're still home. What's that?
You want to stop for a cup of coffee? Whatever you want to do.
Oh, I don't drink coffee. I'll drink tea.
You don't have to. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You're destroying it.
I do terribly on
Yeah.
caffeine. I
God, this
can't.
looks the same. At least fix it up. I would have fixed it up if I still lived here.
Of course, Gary.
Oh, I would have made it beautiful.
The thing is that the landlord doesn't live here. He doesn't see what's going on.
I see he put in an escape hatch.
Yeah.
Is that in case he gets caught by the police? Or?
Well, thank you very much, Marie, for that wonderful tour.
Come back later.
It was nice meeting you. Thank you.
No, I'll see you a little later.
All right.
Yeah, this is the house, and you know that's the window. That was my room right there. And I remember it's kind of funny story. This guy, he was like a Ken doll, and he had all these girls around him. And he said, "Hey, girls, I'm going to take your place. I'm going to do." And me and my friend were yelling out without being seen, "Get lost, you bum!" You know, we were insulting the guy, making him look bad in front of the girls.
Yeah.
So after a while, he goes, "Hey, you guys, stick your mugs out the window." Instinctively, we ran into the kitchen, got 2 coffee mugs, and stuck. I don't know what possessed us, but that's the
funny.
kind of people. Now, this was a lot. This house was just put up
Yeah,
a
this
couple
looks
weeks
brand
ago.
new.
A couple weeks ago.
This is that cheap construction that they use nowadays where they try to make it look like stone,
Yeah.
but it's really just a facade. Mm-hmm. That was very nice meeting Marie.
Yeah, she's, you know, if everyone in the world was like her, we wouldn't be having the problems we're having.
Yeah, she's a very sweet woman.
There lived another girl who I had a big crush on. Her name was Barbara Barone.
So getting back to Valentina, you had mentioned wanting to talk about your relationship later. Did you do that
yeah,
already?
we're gonna walk now. It's gonna be on the other side of the street. So whenever you want to cross, we're gonna go to St. Catherine's Academy.
Let's do
where
it.
she went to high school.
About how far? Because I'm just trying to gauge battery length.
4 blocks maybe.
All right, we should make it just fine.
Okay, you know, I don't want to.
No, we're good.
I don't know how you are with video time.
I have another set of batteries. It's
Okay.
just a matter of
You could dissolve or fade, I guess.
yeah, exactly. I try to stay away from edits, and in fact, I'll even probably leave this in.
Yeah.
The audience loves all that kind of stuff, I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah. That was a lot. That was a lot. A lot of people did some, you know, screwy shit in there.
I'm sure.
But
But this ain't Yonkers, though. You know, the screwy
No.
shit really took place in
you know,
Yonkers.
you know, when I read Maury's book, and then nothing came of it, I thought that was it. And you know, I said, oh, that's a piece that's never going to be resolved, and you know, and it's very personal to me. I want it resolved, which is when you know, when you and I met, I was so happy that you're doing this because hopefully we'll come to some kind of conclusion. and it'll be good for me. You know, one of the people that I got really agitated at, that cop Coffee.
Joe Coffee, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, this is a conspiracy. It was just him, and I'm going. You know, I want to punch you right in the head. This way. Sorry. Sorry. Straight. It's going to be straight.
That's fine.
We're going to St. Catherine's Academy, where she went to high school. I went to St. Raymond's High School for Boys, which I was dead set against. I wanted to go to Columbus High School.
Wait, St. Raymond's, that's that super old church, right?
Yeah, it's in
has an old
Castle
cemetery?
Hill neighborhood.
Yeah, I used to deliver timpani there every Easter and Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, they were a client of mine. They had a very old cemetery, I remember.
Yeah, I did not want to go there. I wanted to go to Columbus High School because most of my friends went there.
Isn't that where Berkowitz went?
Yeah, I don't think it's there anymore. And several years ago, I visited there. They shot The Wanderers there in the football field.
Oh, no kidding.
That was my first job. I was an extra on that.
You know, I actually looked you up in the Summer of Sam. I saw you. I saw you in the Yankee Stadium.
There's a few scenes I'm in. Some you don't see me that well. I'm in the opening scene. You just see my back entering the disco.
I'm sorry, we got sidetracked. You were talking about Maury's book.
Yeah. Okay. So that when nothing came of that, I it felt terrible, and then you took up the mantle, and I was so happy about it. And I just decided to reach out to you because I thought you'd be, oh, okay, well that's nice.
No.
And that'd be the end of it.
See, people,
which was fine.
See, people confuse sometimes what this video series is about.
No, now I realize, having seen every single video, I didn't sleep for 2 weeks because I was watching you.
I'm so sorry.
No. I was happy. I was like, oh my God.
But yeah, we like the human interest stories. I mean, we're not trying to solve the case, although it'd be nice.
Right.
We're trying to find out things that, of course, in the investigation. But stories like yours are actually much more important in a sense.
Well, I realize that the human side of it is very important, and I guess this has been bottled up in me for so long. I'm sick and tired of Val being looked at as a victim.
Right.
And I guess that's the motivation why I reached out to you. And I told people who I was trying to get pictures of her from, I said, look, this is a good guy. He's not looking to sensationalize everything. We're trying to do a loving tribute to her. And some people said they'd get back to me. Some people didn't answer me at all. Some people said I'm not comfortable with that.
That's fine.
But I'm still working on people. I hope to see her sister. And her best friend. I'm always in contact with her best friend from then. So.
No, yeah. When you reached out to me, I was extremely excited about it.
Oh, see, I thought you'd be very nice about it and say, oh, that's nice.
Oh, hell no.
But then then when you explain, and then it made sense that
people, including myself, Gary. Remember, I'm looking at this as the ultimate fan of almost, I guess that's a bad word, but a fan of the crime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we love this story.
Yeah, we're almost there. A couple more blocks.
So to a person like me, I would love to see this if I was in the audience.
Yeah.
So to be able to bring it to people is a super honor for me.
And you would think, because what I do, which is kind of on the downslope now, because Hollywood's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. And the last film, I was averaging 6 films a year, and the last one I did was February of last year, which just before all this craziness started. And a couple of people reached out to me to do something. I was asked to do something with Woody Harrelson in Poughkeepsie just recently.
Oh, cool!
But they didn't want to pay. They wanted to pay minimum wage. I said I could.
You could do an Unsolved Mystery Son of Sam episode for that.
Yeah, I mean, I could go work at McDonald's for what you want to pay me. So I turned that down, and I do it now. I do it, here and there when people call me, because now I'm at the point where people call me to do something, which is kind of nice. So.
That's good.
I didn't. I've had so many opportunities where I was this close.
Right.
This close, and to get that close and lose it all. I was actually up for the lead with Jodie Foster in 5 Corners.
Really?
in 1988, and a guy I'm no Robert Redford, but a guy that does not look halfway as good as I do, John Turturro.
Right.
It was between him and I. I got 3 callbacks, and
Wow.
he got it.
Yeah, I only in my life, the closest I ever got to success like that was I did a commercial for Stomp, that group Stomp.
Oh yeah.
Which was pretty fun. I mean, it was 2 days of intense work, and I made 10 grand. I mean, it was amazing. I couldn't believe how much money there was in this.
Yeah, I did a couple of years ago. I did an online commercial for the Oracle, it's called. And they said, "How much do you want?" I said, for 3 hours work. I said, 500. Okay. All right. So getting back to Val, we are coming on St. Catherine's Academy. This is the beginning. The gate is. And I'm going to tell you what our relationship was at this point.
Now, this is after St. Lucy's. She went here for high school.
She went there. I went to St. Raymond's for boys, which I did not want to go. Jockstrap City. So I feel like
sausage party.
I feel like I was robbed of all the girls I could have gone out with, which is why I wanted to go to Columbus High School.
I gotta say, if there's one thread that's running through this entire video series, is you were a horny kid, man. You.
At 16, 17, 18?
Yeah, I mean, well, who am I to talk?
Okay. So, oh no, here's the entrance coming up.
So yeah, we don't want to look at Valentina as a victim. In fact, none of the victims of Son of Sam, including the living ones, have been humanized, really.
No, I mean, are you trying to reach out to? I mean, there's a lot of survivors. I wish they would come on and talk. All right, here we go. And that sign has not changed.
You can tell that sign has not changed.
Yeah. So this is where Val went for high school. She did very well. Obviously, because she was also very smart. And yeah, this is where she went in our high school years. And you don't get accepted here unless you're very smart, very intelligent. So, and like I said, she had a goofy sense of humor, but she was very quick-witted, very smart. And this is where she went, and I wasn't as smart. It took my mother a few phone calls to get me into the high school that I didn't want to get into. And then when you're ready, I can show you the view from where I got off the bus, walked here, waited for Val, or she waited for me. We'd walk back to her house.
Which is right up the block,
which
right?
is real. The projects are right there.
Yeah.
And I'd have Val and 3 of her girlfriends. And boy, did I feel like a king on the hill. And we just walked, we did a lot of walking.
So you guys were still friends in high school then? You still remained?
Yeah. Like I said, we would meet here. Sometimes she'd have to wait for me because I had to come from Castle Hill. But sometimes she would get out later where I would just meet her exactly on time or just before. Either way, we still stayed friends through high school, and it was after high school that it started to kind of ebb off. Because like I said, at 18, I started doing things at the St. Lucie CYO. I started going to the Academy of Dramatic Arts in Manhattan.
And so then she was sort of going her separate way, like it happens after high school.
Yeah, but we would still see each other in the neighborhood.
Did you hear about this Alexander Esau character?
No, at that point, I didn't know. I never met him. I never knew about him. That was during the time when I was with my girlfriend. She was over at the Hutchinson River Parkway.
Right.
I don't think they were together long, so I never had a chance to meet him.
I mean, what a confluence of events. She just starts going out with some guy, wasn't with him long, and then ends up in so many things had to happen for her to end up in that spot that night.
Yeah, 3 a.m. I mean,
I know. Did you know her to be that type?
I knew her to be not afraid of anything.
Not afraid of anything.
Which could explain it.
Because that type, I shouldn't have said that really, because you're making out with your boyfriend, that's not a type, but hanging out at 3 a.m.
Yeah, she was not a demure. I mean, she was feminine, but she, you couldn't put anything over on her. She probably felt safe because she was only a block and a half, 2 blocks from the house anyway.
But this whole .44 caliber thing had been happening, and it had already been pretty much publicized, so people were fearful, except for Valentina.
Yeah, well, she wasn't taking any shit from it. Her personality was probably, I'll shove the gun right up his ass.
Right.
That was her attitude. That was my attitude.
Was there any talk about any rumors after this? Like it wasn't Berkowitz, but it was some mafia hit, or I mean, I know I keep on running to that, but I'm curious if was there any talk about that in the neighborhood?
No, I don't remember anything like that.
So Gary, we're kind of running out of batteries.
Okay.
So is there any last thing you want to tell the audience or show us?
No, unless you want to see where I walked up to meet her.
Sure, we have a very little time left,
Okay,
so I just want to make sure we capture that. And this was fantastic. I mean, really.
I hope so. I'm always, I hope I didn't, things didn't come off boring.
No.
Okay,
please.
There's Pelham Parkway. Okay, I would get off on the opposite corner, all the way up by that building that's passing the trees.
Yeah.
I get off the bus there, walk here. I, meet Val, and then we'd walk to her house, to her apartment.
And this was pretty much every day?
Maybe 2-3 times a week for at least 2 or 3 of the years.
The one last question, and let's go under here, and we'll close it on out.
Okay.
One last question. Do you remember the last time you ever saw Valentina? Let's go under here in the shade. Like the last thing you said to her?
I would say maybe early 77, January, or late 76, September. I can't remember exactly, but it was somewhere in that 3-month period. I would say it was the last time I saw her. And I guess she came to the area because she was visiting someone she knew. Like I said, once she moved to the Hutchinson River Parkway, I didn't see nearly as much as her. But you're close once, you're going to stay close.
But your last interaction with her wasn't particularly memorable, like it didn't stand out.
No, it was, hey, hug.
There wasn't a feeling of impending doom or any weird vibe or anything?
No, she was, full of humor and, hey, Gary, hey,
Right.
And she was a little taller than me, a couple inches taller than me, which isn't hard to do. I'm only short of 5'6". I think she was 2 inches taller than me.
Right.
Or maybe an inch and a half, I don't know, but she was taller than me. That was another reason why I guess I kind of shied away from asking her out.
Right. All right, Gar. Well, listen, that was a very, very great tribute. We saw a lot today, and you had a lot to say, which I think the audience is going to find very, very nice to listen to, emotional, heartfelt, and also filling in the blanks, humanizing Valentina. Instead of being a victim, now it's an actual human being that had relationships and had a legacy and made impact and all that kind of stuff.
And I can't thank you enough for doing this.
It's my pleasure, Gary. So anyway, I want to just say thank you, Gary, and of course, if there's anything that you didn't say, because I know the old thing, when the camera turns off, it's like, oh man, I didn't say that, I didn't say that.
I can go on for years with stories, believe me.
You are an official friend of the show. We love you here, and we want to make sure that you understand that you can always come back. You can always do part 2, my friend.
Well, I'm going to try to get more mementos about Val if I can.
Well, we definitely want you back for that. We'll either do another video or we'll do another show. So in the meantime, I want to say to the audience, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you at the next video. Thanks, guys.